this energy of you must do things non-traditionally in order to bring into the physical this connection. Because mirrored to you from your connection is they are at an impasse. They cannot, number one, express their anger to you, and number two, they cannot express their lust or passion or compassion for you. Now, that's helpful to the feminine. I don't know what they're doing, but not only have they put their anger at bay, and I can see that they cut cords. Air suit, air suit. This is them cutting cords. They cut cords. They cut cords. So they were angry and they were horny. I'm going to say it that way. I won't continue. And they had to cut those cords and let the energy, give it up to the universe, give it up to the creator. And this is the energy that came in the month with. So sometime in the last cycle, they cut those cords. And I'm in a temple. There's going to be a little bit of noise in the background. Don't be alarmed. So they cut those cords. That's the energy that they're moving into this cycle with. And the challenge, the obstacle, the problem here was somebody was reticent, somebody was fearful to take a leap of faith. And that's because you're masculine and you're in your ego and you're judging and governing from your ego, and you think that things need to be in your domain, in your control. That if something just naturally, spiritually comes to you, you don't trust it because you didn't struggle for it. And I get that. But that's a low vibrational ascension. You're only at your first level of ascension in that case. I'm going to let you know. Because this is something that you came to experience. This is something that came to remove the obstacles from your spirit, karma, life path, destiny. This example, this connection came to help you purify the soul and get back to the part of you that is in union with the creator. Okay. So this came to remove obstacles for you. And since it came in a package other than what you're used to, you started some drama. I'm just going to say it. So what happened was you didn't trust it. And, the not trusting it is varied levels of idiocy. I'm going to say it. So, really what happened was something came to you, and instead of you going inside and finding out what was alive in you, initially from the jump, from the get-go, you spiraled out of control. Okay, clean up, hot mess, aisle 6 is what they're saying. So that's 6th dimension. Yeah, they're calling you a hot mess. The spirit guides are calling you a hot mess, masculine. I'm just going to say it. So really what happened was when something comes to you and it knocks at your door and you're a little bit confused, you slow down the mind. If you can, turn off the brain. If you can, put your ego on the top shelf and get in line with your intuition. You hear what I'm saying? You don't sit there and spy on somebody's Facebook and look at their Instagram and think you know about their life and think you have enough data that you clearly don't even know how to interpret and make maladaptive, idiosyncratic decisions from the outside, from the external world. You don't pull from external places when you are confused to make internal decisions for your life, for your soul. Okay, what do? You stop, you slow down, you disconnect from the external world, and you step into alignment with your authentic self. And you had to do it, but the universe had to beat you down in order for it to happen. It doesn't happen until the next month of this cycle. All right, so that was the nicest way to say it. And if I said that to you and you've got your feelings hurt, unsubscribe. Okay, because when I speak, I will offend weak minds and I will empower strong minds. And that's a gauge for you. And I'm qualified to say it. The qualification for me personally is the sun in the 8th house and moon in the 3rd house. So whatever I said to you, if the initial response was ego, you're not ready. You're not ready for this and you're not ready to mess with me. So take a moment, slow your roll, take a step back and come back when you're ready to do your work. Because if the initial response was ego and you felt the need to defend something to another party instead of yourself, that is a really strong indicator of where you are in relationship to this cycle. And I'm going to say it because it's coming through me. I'm being guided to say it. Let's not make this about me, but that should have been helpful information. Okay. So that was the challenge. You were given the opportunity to do your work and you decided to make an issue, to make a mess, to throw a tantrum in whatever way it was. And it doesn't matter what it was going on in your life. I don't really care. If you're in a relationship other than the person who is suddenly awakened you, okay, then you say, hey, I want this connection. I got to go away and do my work, but here's what's alive in me. Here's what I'm wanting, thinking, and needing. And if you're not even willing to exchange those spiritual currencies, you know, here's what I'm wanting, here's what I'm thinking, here's what I'm needing, here's my drive, here's my passion, here's my desire, here's my vision, here's my willpower. If you're not willing to engage in those currencies, you ain't ready. Okay, and it was clear and obvious to everybody but you, homie. So I gotta say it. Now, what the focus is here for this cycle, for the month. So between December 17th and January 16th, it is 15th. They're telling me January 15th. So, is that you needed to stop being topsy-turvy. You were trying to do that whole 2 lives, 2 families, 2 girls, 2 men, whatever it is that you're into. You were doing that whole very firm boundaries. It was schizo. It was schizophrenic. And what I mean by that, it was you could literally compartmentalize your soul. It's fine to compartmentalize your feelings, compartmentalize your thoughts until you're in the place where that container is conducive for doing that work. But literally, you were 2 different energetic vibrations. You were literally 2 different people. That's schizophrenia here. And I'm just going to say it in case you want to spiral out of control. It is the card that we're dealing with. So, you know, yell at me all you want. Hit the thumbs down if you need to. Don't get it twisted, though. Don't get it twisted. And it's saying here that you had, in the last 4 weeks, in the last 2 fortnights, the energy, the consciousness of you needing to close out the cycle has finally come through. And it's mirrored by the sun. So really the truth needs to come out. You need to get right with yourself. There's no other way to say it. I could say it how I want to say it, but it ain't nice. You need to get right with yourself. I don't know what you're smoking, what little Kool-Aid you drank there. Masculine. And it's okay, baby doll. You know, we all got to learn. It takes one to know one. Okay, I spotted because I got it, or I had it, I should say. But it's clear. Whatever feelings, whatever fears, whatever deep, dark secret you need to come to the surface with, you got to do it. The time is now. You hear what I'm saying? And it's some BS. Whatever little story you have for not doing what you really should be doing, it's BS. And I'm going to tell you why. This is from the creator on down to you. It is Sunday, so we do have the creator here. Here's the deal, homie. I'm being told to tell you something very directly. What you were fighting and holding on to, your reasons for not doing what you know you should have been done doing, are very human. They're very third dimensional. They're very physical. And see, the 5 months, the 10 months, the 18 months that you bought yourself by being of 2 minds, of 2 hearts, acting like 2 different people. Excuse me there, I bumped the mic. Those were human things. Those were not spiritual things. And what you did was you kicked your spiritual ascension a mile down the road, 2 miles down the road, 10 miles down the road. And so now you're at the end of the road. Unless you turn around and regress back to a small child, unless you regress back to a demon, you're going to need to get right with yourself. You ain't got no more lifelines here. You can't call a friend, okay? You can't get the answer. You can't cheat. You can't go look up it in the encyclopedia. You need to sit down. You need to quiet your mind. You need to put your ego away, and you need to figure out what is alive in you. You need to tap and move into your heart center. You need to be vulnerable with yourself and with your own truth and with your creator and figure out what's alive in you. And it ain't about this other person. It's about fear of stepping into divine union with another person who's represented by another divine creature. So I'm sorry, but you don't have any outs. Okay. And I can tell you're already hiding. It's clear that you've gone into hiding, because the sacrifice to make is for you to stand your ground and to face the cold hard truth. There's no other way to say it. Look, when I told you the time is now, look at what that monkey's doing. The monkey talks about your lower self, the part of you that's demonic, the part of you that has a lot of intellect but still is animalistic. So that's a demon. Okay, and it's spiritual terms that I'm using. If you're objecting to the words that I'm using, bounce up out of here. Unsubscribe. So look at what's happening there. You don't have any more lifelines. One little oops, it all comes down to the ground. So get right with yourself. Do your work. Do your work. Because the way you move out of the cycle into the next month is You need to get right with yourself. You need to be alone with your own self, and you need to find your own light in the darkness, by the way. Okay. So let me translate in case you don't know. That means get right with yourself. That means face your fears, face those stinking thinkings, face that shadow nature, and own your own shit. If you do not do it, you will not successfully complete this cycle. And let me be really clear, this is not a drill. No one is coming to save you. You must save yourself. Deliver yourself unto the throne of your own divine self. Period, point blank. Okay. Now, I'm going to talk about this in the recap now. I know this was tough energy. Pardon me. I'm feeling great. I don't mean to be so harsh, but when men come to me and they have this issue, there's something alive in them that they're very fearful of. And oftentimes, especially now that we're starting off this month with the Hierophant Emperor first, they don't want to deal with whatever daddy did to their mama. So if their daddy found another woman who really, truly, genuinely made them happy, and the family got left in pieces, then they're bruised and wounded from whatever they experienced in their youth. That, and especially with these two energies here, I see this often. You know, you have the Hierophant up against the Empress. So you want to be what you didn't receive as a child. So whatever wounding you experienced in your youth, in your formative years, you're trying to prevent that. And you're probably the oldest sibling in your family, or you're probably the most responsible one, or you probably have a lot of responsibilities. And let me just tell you, homie, you cannot help other people to the expense of yourself. What did they say when the airplane's about to go down? Please put your own life mask on first so that you have the life force, the consciousness to help other people. If you're not even willing to save yourself, how are you going to be able to sustainably help other people? You have to have your own gas tank full, or at least above half empty, in order to help other people, in order to give fuel to other people. Okay? If you're running out of gas, if you're running out of steam, how can you supply other people with that? Okay, and I'm going to translate that. Listen to the wording that I'm using. If you ain't happy, you cannot teach your children to be happy. If you ain't happy, you're not a story worth telling. You're not an example worth following. You need to live your own best life, and you need to not feel the need to ask permission for that. If you need to justify what you do in order to live your life and be happy, you're out of alignment. You're not in alignment with your spiritual power. You don't need a divine lover situation. Go ahead and get another karmic situation so that you can be broken out of that projection, of that regression, of that suppression of your true self. Okay? So if you're not willing to do your work, don't complain about it. Don't do it, especially to me. Do not do it, okay? So that's just what I'm seeing, because you need to step inside to yourself, do some soul searching, and find out what's alive in you. You need to learn how to have spiritual technology in your life. You don't have to be who they told you should be, especially if that person is sad and dead. You know, I see this happen sometimes. They say, you know, my mentor always told me, you know, the average man dies at 25 and waits around to 75 to get buried. So what's up with that? Are you living your best life? Are you being your best self? Because the answer here is you're right there on the precipice. And the single biggest thing you need to do is close out this cycle. Do your work. Okay, so the shared energy here is breakthrough. Okay, and what does that mean? That is the Judgment card. So the Judgment card is out here twice, and the Justice card. The Justice card is out here twice, and so is the Judgment card. So excuse me 1 second. So what does that mean? It means that your soul needs to wake you up. Your soul's been knocking at the door for some time. I want to be honest. Your soul's been knocking at the door for some time. And you're in your fear place. You're in your place of fear. And oftentimes it doesn't appear to a masculine person like they're fearful. It's their ego. It's that refusing to ask for directions, or refusing to take external feedback or external cues, even if they're from the universe, and align themselves with that. It's the you needing to face up to the fact that the story and the strategy you've had up until now has not been serving you. In the very real honesty, it's probably been harming you. And until you get in alignment with what you truly need and with who you truly are, you're going to be maladaptive and maladjusted here. Okay? And it's not your fault, but it is your responsibility to pick it up and keep it moving. So it doesn't matter whatever happened to you, whatever harmed you, whatever wounded you. It's not your fault, baby doll, but it's your responsibility to heal from that. And if you are not willing to face up to your own wounding, how are you ever going to become an enlightened individual? That's what karma is. Karma means what you need to go through and what you need to experience on an emotional level, because the emotions what attracts that, what manifests that into your life. And when you expedite that, meaning you go through it, it means you get to grow through it. You grow through what you go through. That's how you get to your dharma. The dharma is what you get to learn and what you get to experience positively. It's the purified karma. Okay, so if this is in your life, you've attracted it some way, and if it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who did it. It doesn't matter who's to blame. It matters that you own it, you accept responsibility for it, and you keep it moving. You do your work. It doesn't matter the originating source. It matters that you learn how to pick it up and keep it moving so that you can break out of it and be free. Okay? So let's read this down. Let's do the recap. Okay, so just remember, the way that it goes with the 11/11 Divine Lover series that comes out on the new moon. This was supposed to be recorded on the 17th of December, a couple days before or after. It was not. My apologies. Now, in addition, this is the Sagittarius energy. The dates on all the videos before this is going to be a little bit confusing. I'm going to do my best to clean it up and put some notes in the show notes. So let's just recalibrate on from this video onwards into the future, okay? Pardon the confusion. This is how it's supposed to be. Somewhere along the line, we fell off. Now, I detect it was intentional. I do. I feel the universe made that happen. I'm not going to blame it on the universe. I'll still accept responsibility, even if it isn't my fault. Now, in addition, the next video, the revolving door video, is gonna come out in a couple days. So the revolving door is all messed up, and the 11/11 Divine Lover series is all messed up. Don't worry about it, because you can still get a lot of good out of it. But what I want you to do is I want you to look in the show notes and see if I'm talking about the full moon or the new moon. Full moon is when you purge, you clear, you purify. New moon is when you open up and you accept and you harmonize yourself with a new vibration. You plant a seed to experience something, okay? And then according to the full moon, if it's a masculine or a feminine, that'll be the guidance that I'm giving. So even if the whole video I'm talking to the man or I'm talking to the woman, you need to understand, is this a feminine moon or a masculine moon? So what are the feminine moons and what are the masculine moons? The masculine signs are Aries, Gemini, Leo, Libra, Sagittarius, and Aquarius. The feminine signs are Taurus, Cancer, Virgo, Scorpio, Capricorn, and Pisces. Okay? So the way that it should be is the very first video of the new cycle will actually be the full moon. The full moon will start telling you what you need to get rid of so that when the 11/11 Divine Lover series comes on, so the full moon is the revolving door. When that video comes out, it should tell, okay, get rid of this stuff. Because if you're just purifying from some karmic relationship, if you can get rid of this stuff, maybe you're at the vibration for a new divine partner. Now, it doesn't always happen that way because you need to be wounded again, and oftentimes wounded a third time before you're ready for a catalytic soulmate. Oftentimes, if you're refusing to deal with your wounding, you will attract a karmic partner. Why? Because there are things alive in us that we have emotionally created according to our emotional body, according to our thought and emotional vibration. Things that we suppress, repress, and project onto another person. And love and sex is the quickest, easiest way for you to learn and expedite your karma. And when you don't do that, What'll happen is the universe will send you a karmic soulmate. They're still a soulmate. You still knew them in the heavens. They're still of your same soul group. However, it's karmic. What does that mean? It means you guys are going to repel instead of attract. You guys cannot do your healing together. What you need to do is project onto each other so that you can discover what you're refusing to deal with that's alive in you. So instead, this video could have been a lot worse. I know, masculine, I kicked your ass a little bit. You're welcome, and I will do it again. You're very welcome. Here, let me tell you though, it could be a lot worse. Okay, it could be a whole lot worse. Why? Because there could be things that you're refusing to see in yourself. If you're unable to ask yourself, what is alive in me that attracts the situation to me? Because what I was being told this time, and I wasn't saying all this, but the universe, and it's very specifically Lord Shiva, Pluto, the planet Pluto. Pluto was saying to me, this dude, okay, is used to finding some broken female that he can come in like a knight in shining armor and solve her life and create a foundation for her life. And so he feels like he's needed, and he needs to be needed in a relationship so that he doesn't feel like he's, I don't have nice words to say, okay? I'm not gonna curse here. So he needs a broken female in some way, shape, form, or another, okay? And since this was a powerful woman who, at the very least, immediately looked at her soul and immediately owned whatever healing and wounding that she needed to address, instead of projecting it back onto him, he was like, okay, you don't need me. Why? Because you're not needy. No, she needed you. She needed you to remind her what was alive in her and what she needed to embody as the divine feminine in order to be fully alive, fully awakened, and fully empowered in this lifetime. You, masculine, coming into their energy, she or he, their energy, the feminine, awakened them and enlivened them, and it brought them to the precipice of their healing, and it activated them. So at the very least, it was a catalytic soulmate. I don't have the Emperor, I don't have the Empress, I don't have the Temperance card, so I can't say this is a twin flame. I do want to say on the feminine, it is a soulmate, definitely. Okay. You, masculine, though, what's going on is, since this is not a weak female, since this is not a weak person, you spiral out of control because you're used to more friction. You're used to more back and forth fighting. You're used to things being difficult. You're used to things being demonic. You're used to things not being divine, not being harmonized, and not being right for you. You're used to being in a situation that eventually gets ripped away from you. And you're used to ignoring the red flags from the beginning. And since there was no red flags, since there was nothing you had to run away and confirm and judge, you spiraled out of control. You put the brakes because you were waiting on the other shoe to drop. The other shoe, homie, was you. Okay? I'm sorry it took me so long to say that because I'm getting curse words. My guides curse with me because that's how I talk. Okay? I'm the potty mouth priestess. But on the temple channel, we made the agreement to keep it clean, so we're going to keep it clean. So that's the deal, homie. And this is the message is from Lord Shiva, Pluto, the planet Pluto. Okay? Yeah. So we have the god and goddess out on the board. They are speaking very loudly, and they're saying it's time. It's time. It's time. It's time for you to get your person. It's time for you to move into a divine partnership. It's time for you to live heaven on earth. And if you're still being fed by the devil, because that's what you're comfortable with, you're gonna really, really, really hate 2018. Because 2018 is the time that you get right with yourself in the heavens. Do you understand? And if you're not doing that, you're going to be struggling. Okay, so let's read this down. On a third dimensional level, a cycle is being completed here on Earth, and the feminine is coming to awareness of that. The masculine needs to just fully complete the cycle and allow this divine energy to come into the material. So allow the divine energy to leave the spiritual and come into the material. Now, emotionally, the emotions that are creating, the projection, the astral body, what's being attracted by the astral body is balance, karmic justice. Karmic justice, the law of Sekhmet, balance, Ma'at. Okay? Your old self must die for your new self to be born. The expense for the life that you want is sacrificing your old life. So if who you used to be cannot be let go of, you're not ready. You're not ready. And that's the truth. Let me tell it to you this way. The price for your new self is your old self. If you cannot sacrifice who you used to be, who you want to be is not ready to be born. Okay? The price for who you want to be is who you used to be. Okay? Now, the belief, the blueprint here is he's been in the background always planning on coming back. You never let go, masculine, and I can tell you never let go. But here's the deal. You really need to communicate that to another person. See, that's also something that upset me in this cast here. Listen, if you need to go away and get rid of your marriage, or if you need to go away and heal, or if you need to go away and see a therapist, or whatever you're gonna do, communicate that. Don't ghost or don't disappear so that you can keep them as an option. See, that's the thing that men don't understand. And I'm saying men, unawakened men, not the divine masculine, not that love warrior. I'm saying men still governing from the ego. Here's the thing they don't understand, and I'm talking to you masculine because maybe you are or are not one of these people. You make that decision on your own. You tell yourself who you are. You don't need to take a cue from me. But listen, homie, don't get it twisted, okay? Here's the deal. Men do this a lot, okay? They catch some feelings and they spiral out of control because they're used to governing from their ego. So when their heart center, when their authentic self opens up to them, they get scared. And they think something else is the issue because you want to go out and conquer. That's a great thing. Going out and conquering is beautiful. But you need to be governed from the heart center, not from the ego, not from your genitalia either. So what happens is you don't communicate to the other person what it is that you're deciding to do because you want to leave them as an option. And that's the thing. That's what a divine masculine needs to do. You need to make a choice. Because when you make a choice, you cut off certain energies coming at you and other energies open up. And that's the thing. You're always fearful of loss. That is ingrained into the masculine. Okay, I understand. You want to protect from peril, from risks. That is understandable. But on a higher level, on a spiritual plane, you need to understand that when you cut off an option, other options open up. And that is the thing you need to do as a masculine. You need to know what you want, know where you're going, know what it is that you are trying to bring into your life. And if you don't do that, either you're a man-child or you are not the divine masculine yet. You make your own decision. You figure out who and what you are. You don't need to take a cue from me. Let me tell you the spiritual parameters, however, and you figure out where you fall in on that spectrum. So the archetype, right? The vision, the spiritual energy that you're putting into this is you need to take a leap of faith. You need to be willing to deal with the spiritual world now. That whole status quo, that whole mama, daddy, teacher, brother, sister, preacher, whatever, that ain't gonna work. You cannot judge from how you're going to be perceived. You cannot judge and make decisions from what the world is going to think about you. If they ain't feeding you, if they ain't financing you, if they ain't fornicating with you, do not worry what they are going to think. Because you're going to let some external energy, the devil, come into your internal life with God and make decisions for you, the child, the lamb. And that is going to slaughter you. And what you're going to do is you're going to lay your head down on the execution table yourself. Do not do it. And that's why you're repressing all of this energy, because you're sad. You're walking around wounded. You hate your life, but you've contributed to the life that you hate because it's what you were told to do. And you make that excuse. Well, this is how things should be, or I don't want to do what daddy did to mama. Homie, you ain't your father, even if you have the same name. Don't worry about it. Okay? That was an example for you. All right? That's what karma is. It's the experiences that you needed to have throughout your life for you to wake up to what is truly alive in you. Lying to yourself just so that your children can live in the same house with their mother and father is not the solution. Let me tell you why. It is better for children to see happy parents than it is to see their parents stay together and hate each other. So if they have two homes and they have two very happy, harmonious homes, it's better than one completely disharmonious home. Do you hear what I'm saying? So let me put an affirmation card out because I just kicked your butt. I know, I'm sorry. Here's an affirmation card. Wonder. Okay, wonder. It's a wonderful thing to be in the state of wonder. And when I am a good audience to my life becomes better and better theater. When something delightful happens, I can shout, encore, and be tickled when it happens again. When something maddening happens, I can laugh it off. Either way, I'm glad I got a ticket to the show of my own life. Okay? So don't worry. Don't worry. You've got to just participate in your own life. Let these things happen. And understand that you can only grow through what you go through. And sometimes in order to jump forward, you got to be pulled back just a little bit like a bow and arrow. Bing! All right, so I'm a bounce. It's been an honor and a pleasure to serve you. If anything I said resonates deeply with you, you can contact me by going to the link in the show notes. I'm going to close with the Sermon of Options. This is from the Affirmators. 50 cards for self-empowerment, and you can buy these at knockknock.com. While you're at it, please go ahead and hit that like button, or you can hit, thumbs down too if you like. So as I open up to the abundant possibilities of my life's path, I am reminded that I always have unlimited options. Life is a buffet, and I allow myself to choose whatever makes me happiest without limiting thoughts like, you can't put a mac and cheese on your baked potato. Exactly. That's funny. It's supposed to be funny. So what it's saying is you can do whatever you want to do. You don't need to look outside for permission to do whatever makes you happy. Exactly what I was trying to tell you. Okay. Peace be with you. Take good care of yourself. Remember, you are love and beauty incarnate. You are made in the divine image of the Creator. You are perfect as you are. Things are perfect as they are. And you can use these pitfalls, these shortcomings to step into the harmonious, abundant life that you want. All you need to do is dream. The 4 ingredients anybody needs to be a creator here in the physical is drive, desire, vision, and will. If you can put those things together, you can make the best life for yourself. Peace be with you. Bye-bye.